How's it going, everyone? Happy Monday. Good morning. College football time with Avery Miguel. Championship Saturday is in the books. First of all, I just like to say that we are thankful to be alive today. We always got to thank God for the good and the bad, for everything that's happening for us. It's a blessing to be alive and to be able to do another content of college football time. Um, Once again, I'm Miguel Mike Medina. This is my partner, Avery. Avery, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good today. Championship Saturday lived all up to the hype. Even the games we had on Friday, which has caused some commotion. And this is going to be a very interesting playoff going into the bowl season.
Yes, indeed. And Avery, the first thing I want to talk about is Notre Dame. As we see, has been the most controversial topic of the weekend. Notre Dame basically got hosed, in many people's opinion. They will not be part of the top 12 college football playoff team. Miami got in, they didn't. And Notre Dame, on top of that, they withdraw from bowl consideration after being left out. And this is the statement they put out. As a team, we've decided to withdraw our name from consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans, and we're hoping to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026. Notre Dame, as you know, Avery, they finished the season 10-2. This is not a surprise to me that they chose not to participate in a bowl game because this is the common thread that we're seeing in college football today. We want to win. We don't want this. We want the bigger thing. And Notre Dame, a team that went to the national title last year, I don't blame them whatsoever for them not choosing to play in the ball game. This is a program that has super high expectations, and you and I we both know this. But I will say this, Avery, two things. Number one, I think the week one matchup against Miami played a major factor in this. And number two, I won't say that this played a factor in this, but I'll say number two, Notre Dame, you need to get a conference. You need to join a conference. And I feel that this particular situation, they're going through what Florida State went through a few years ago, except that Florida State went undefeated that year. But Notre Dame, I feel that this is the moment, this is the pivotal moment of your program to just finally join a conference.
And this has been my main point for Notre Dame for the past couple years. I've mentioned it probably at least once this entire season on college football time. The I hate I don't well not hate. I'm not very confident about the committee's decisions for a couple reasons, but I completely agree with you on one. Notre Dame actually needs a conference. I've said this for at least a couple years. I've said at this point, because of now with the 12-team college football playoff, Notre Dame needs a conference because that would have helped him. Because with James Madison winning Friday night, Tulane winning Friday night, that propelled them into getting in the playoff. Although last year that did not work for Army. Army won their conference last year. I'm sorry, Navy won the conference last year. And that did not help them get into the college playoff. They were left out. So at this point, you had Notre Dame sitting in the top 12. They did need a little help, just like Miami needed a little help. Of the three games, BYU, Texas Tech, Georgia, Alabama, and Duke, Virginia were the three bowls that not only Miami needed help with, but Notre Dame needed help with as well. Does the loss to Miami have a factor at Notre Dame? Yes. Should it have been a factor to get in? I don't think so. Because even with, I'll say this, even as an Alabama fan, with Alabama losing, Alabama could have been knocked out. Alabama could have been knocked out Now you have Miami and Notre Dame along to and James Madison. Now, looking at the bracket, just like last year, everybody's going to be saying the same thing. You have some teams in here, you do have some new blood, you are shaking things up, which is a good thing for college football. Now, here is the one point that I think Notre Dame actually shot themselves in the foot with. You made the comparison about Florida State a couple years. Yes, Florida State went undefeated. They were left out. It had to do with strength of schedule. Florida State still opted for their bowl, even though along with the transfer portal, you also had a lot of students that did not play that bowl game with Georgia. Notre Dame, I think they did themselves a disservice by not playing, by taking a chance to play a bowl. You can be upset all you want to, and I completely agree with it. It is completely justified. But the fact that you are not taking a bowl, I think you are taking the decision out of the hands of the young men who played that this year, who worked very hard. Even though, yes, you were a team last year, you worked hard to get that. Now that you're not in the playoff, now you want to take that away from your program. The entire thing about bowls, even though they're also used for the college playoff system now, is recognition, is to get your team noticed. It is also revenue. Notre Dame can be mad all you want, and I can be slightly mad with you. But the fact that you are removing yourself from bowl because you're mad is as probably as petty can get. Now, I like pettiness. I myself am sometimes petty, but this is the time to not be petty. Notre Dame, you could have done what Florida State did. Be mad, take the bowl, and then go beat up on whatever bowl they gave you. But yet now you're mad, you're not taking a bowl, and now you look, I'm sorry, you look like a bunch of crybabies. You can be mad. There are a lot of other teams that are mad. Texas can be mad. Texas can be sitting out there being mad too.
BYU
But
as
guess
well.
what? But guess what? They're gonna take that bowl. They're gonna take that bowl, and whatever they have scrapped together, they're gonna make it work. Fighting Irish, I am sorry. Now this does two things for you. Just like I've said for the past couple years, and Miguel just reiterated it, and I'm gonna reiterate it too. Get a conference. Get a conference. Heck, you can join the American Conference like Tulane or Conference USA. You can go Big 10, you can go Big 12. You could cause a lot of havoc talking about Notre Dame by just joining a conference. Heck, you can really cause you want to really cause some havoc? Join the ACC. Join the ACC, Notre Dame. But if anything, this now literally cements it. University of Notre Dame, you now need your athletic department now needs to be in talks for you to be in a conference because at least playing other teams in a conference, the possibility of a conference championship game would have boosted your strength of schedule because it's the same talk every year that a lot of people talk about Notre Dame being overrated, but look at who you play. You pay other schools to play you. And sometimes that backfires. We've seen it. Other schools, it's happened to other schools too. We've seen it. Now, their athletic department needs to get together. Coach Freeman needs to get together, and the school needs to make a decision to look into a conference position. But this may be unpopular opinion. This may be a hot topic, a hot take, if you will. But for someone who does like to be petty, Notre Dame, I'm sorry. How dare you take that away from your young men to not take a bowl? because and in a way it sounds kind of cheap, but you could have taken that frustrations out on your team. In fact, you could have probably played Texas, and that probably would have been a good game, like literally. But I can understand the frustration, but there's a time to be petty and there's a time not to be. And no, no. Notre Dame called it a farce. Hey, I'll agree with you. It is, but I hate to say it, you made your bed. You made your bed, Notre Dame.
That was well said, Avery. I have nothing to say about that. Um, I don't blame them for opting out, but yes, yes, you can be that petty to a point where you're diminishing. And we said this last time. Yes, bowl season is not as fun or as entertaining as it once was because of the transfer portal and stuff like that. But again, people who have a brain, people who have conscience like you and I, Avery, we got to take chances on teams and athletes that don't get attention. It's not always about the big programs, it's about the ones that don't get attention. And that's why, once again, I can't stress this enough. College football time, we try to cover everything and everyone. All right. And that's where I'm going to go to my next subject. Shout out James Madison. James Madison. James Madison. James Madison. James Madison. By the way, a school that was once head coach by Kurt Signetti. Kurt Signetti. James Madison, congratulations to them. They won the Sun Belt Championship and they're going to the playoffs. They're going to the playoffs. As a Miami Hurricane fan and as an Arizona State Sun Devils fan, I like seeing new teams winning. James Madison, I am so looking forward to that matchup against Oregon. It's going to be fun in that playoff game. Man, they deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for them.
They're
Purple
Oh,
City,
yeah,
man.
absolutely. Their program should be very proud. Not only with a conference win, but also a first time playoff berth. That Sun Belt Championship, congratulations to James Madison. Now they do have a definite uphill battle. They are going to Oregon. Tough venue to play in, tough stadium to play in. Right now, I know it's still early. They are heavy underdogs. But I think them getting in, they're going to use this opportunity to do everything they can to be prepared for the Oregon Ducks. And just like last year, and I know a lot of people are going to say such and such team is going to get, those games aren't going to be competitive. But you know what? When you have a team that gets there, they're gonna do their donders, and they're gonna have that fire that's been lit because already people are talking about James Madison. Okay, they got in, we got nothing to worry about. But if you are Oregon, do not take them lightly. Just like Tulane. Tulane got in as well. They're playing Ole Miss and considering, what's going on there. But definitely, I think these first round matchups are very, very intriguing.
And shout out to Tulane as well. They made it to the playoffs. They're going to be going up against Ole Miss.
And not only that, Tulane were an underdog. Tulane was not favored in their game. So definitely a good shout out to the Green Wave. Absolutely.
Jake Retzloff, who is one of the quarterbacks that I respect in college football. This man transferred from BYU to Tulane, which was a controversial transfer because certain things happened there which I'm not gonna get into details because we don't know everything that goes behind the scenes. But man, for him to transfer to Tulane, which I thought that was interesting, but how is this moving the needle? And he has proven it. He has
Oh,
moved the
a
needle.
definite needle move.
And
Definite
wow.
needle move.
And the victory over Ole Miss, boy oh boy, that would be massive. Because right now it's a thunderstorm right now in Ole Miss right now.
Yeah.
So Tulane has the momentum right now. In this matchup,
Oh,
they have the momentum.
oh, absolutely. And not only that, if and we always say it, when things happen, you look at it and you can say that can be interesting. Tulane is in Louisiana. Tulane's not that far from LSU. I think it's about an hour away. How interesting that they're playing Ole Miss. So yes, definitely, definitely. Tulane has been a very interesting football program in the past 3 years to kind of get out of the shadow of those other schools in the area. And I think that school should be very proud. Very proud. Not only a conference championship, playoff spot, now get back to the playbook, get back in the situation room, get back, and playing and see what they can do to keep that momentum going.
Cincinnati took over Indiana 2 years ago. Last year he was kind of like I would say cocky to a certain extent, but this year he was all about business. And Indiana, they're partying like it's 1967 right now. They beat a very tough defending champions, Ohio State Buckeyes, 13-10. I was so amazed by their defense, by the Hoosiers defense. Fernando Mendoza, what can I say about this kid? I like this kid. I feel that this game cemented his chances of winning the Heisman Trophy. And Indiana has suffered misery against Ohio State since 1988. And as of Saturday, they have put that to rest. Streaks, droughts, they're meant to be broken, Avery. And this is another drought that was broken.
Yeah, Pat McAfee is just, screaming from the rooftops this weekend. I actually work with a few Ohio State fans. I did tell them go Hoosiers. They kind of looked at me like I was crazy. I said, don't do it. Do not do it. Indiana has been on a complete roll this season. I think their win against Oregon was the turning point, but then that's when they put the nitrous in the gas tank. Because after that, every game, aside from the Penn State game where they had to come back, every game was just lights out. Every game was just lights out. And I also completely agree with you. I think Mr. Mendoza is probably, if they're gonna make it a close Heisman race, I think he's absolutely the front runner. Now and I've said it before, he's been the most consistent the entire year. So finding out the finalists are going to be interesting, but at the same time, I think this has been really, really great for the Indiana program. And we've said it in the past couple years, when you have schools that have those other storied great sports programs and then other programs are taking that turn. Here's another one. Anytime you mention Indiana, like their history is literally built in their college basketball program. Now, look for that football program to take off in the next couple of years. And not only that, if whatever this season has proven, look for some recruits and other individuals maybe looking at that transfer portal.
Texas Tech put a foot in you know what on BYU to capture the Big 12 title. Duke, shout out to Duke. I see the background, even though you're a college basketball fan of Duke. But Duke football team, they captured the ACC title. Great game, overtime. Tough loss for Virginia. But Duke, they won it. Uh, man, that first round is interesting. Like I said, as a Miami Hurricane fan, I'm happy that they got into the playoffs. I just wish we would have both Miami and Notre Dame in it, but Miami versus Texas A&M will be fun. And whoever wins that game is not going to be easy because they'll be facing Ohio State in the following
Yeah,
round.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I think if of the first round games, we're gonna have a repeat of Alabama, Oklahoma. Um, but yeah, I agree with you. That Miami, Texas A&M first round game, and they will be playing at Texas A&M. I that could probably be the most interesting game of the first round. Right now I believe Texas A&M is favored. They're favored by only about 4 points. But as we get closer to kickoff, this is going to change some momentum. Every team should be proud that they are in the college playoff. Those that are even, sitting, with a bye to wait for who they play, they're not just sitting on their laurels. They're studying. They're probably going to be paying attention, especially to the teams that they will eventually play. So, the teams for the first round, they need to be proud of themselves. They're standing on business right now, and they're going to take advantage of it. And I know even in the first year, there were some controversies. This year, also controversies, but we've said it recently. We've said it probably our entire, existence on college football time. We like when something new comes along. We like when, you know, no one is talking about, a certain team or a certain game. And this could be the opportunity where these programs are getting the recognition that not only they absolutely want, but they absolutely need. Because, like anything, it's going to change, it's going to evolve. And we know college football in the past few years has evolved, sometimes good, sometimes not good, but these programs getting this attention, now you're going to have these young men saying, hey, look what that program did. Especially for those programs where maybe the young men, maybe going out of state may not be financially beneficial to them. You may have some young men that are sitting in Louisiana right now that are hoping to get on LSU, but now they're looking at Tulane and being like, oh, hey, you have some young men who are in Texas, and Texas being like a football state powerhouse that it is, now the choice used to be Texas and A&M, or maybe you're going across the Red River to Oklahoma. Now, if you're in Texas, you're like, I can go to Texas Tech. I can go to A&M. I can still be a Longhorn. I can still go to Stillwater. So I like that these programs are getting more face time, if you will, so that these young men can look at these programs. They can also see how the coaches are coaching and mentoring these young men for not only, the game of football, but also the game of life as well.
Avery, to wrap this up, Penn State officially got Matt Campbell out of Ohio State. The the sad thing about it is that not only they'll be getting Matt Campbell, but Matt Campbell is planning to bring the entire coaching staff with him. So Iowa State could be losing their defensive coordinator. And to a certain extent, I don't like that when one coach leaves a team that they basically gonna dismantle this entire team by bringing it. To a certain extent, I don't like it, but that's the situation that we're living in college football. I'm still scratching my head with the whole Lane Kiffin situation. But something needs to be done in the sense that if you're gonna do this, do it after it's all over, after the playoffs, after everything, which you said before and we agree with. But yeah, but Matt Campbell is gonna be officially a Penn State head coach.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it's, okay, you have your coaching hire. But at the same time, I mean, it's the same reason why I don't I and especially in college football and in the NFL we've kind of seen coaches lose their jobs in the middle of season. In college football, it's a bit different. And so fact that the fact they've done the hire, I also I Penn State got a bowl too, I believe. So, it's a double-edged sword because, coaching, vacancies, hirings, it's almost in the same realm of the transfer portal. So, why are you doing at a certain time that it could cause an issue within the system? Going back to your comment of, okay, so Matt Campbell wants to take his coaching staff with him. We've seen that when Deion Sanders went from Jackson State to Colorado. He pretty much took the entire coaching staff with him. Granted, you can also make changes later, but that does leave a bit of a bad taste in my mouth when you're taking your entire coaching staff with you. I mean, you could easily say, "Hey, I got this new job. Do you want to come?" It's almost like, can you at least give me a choice? It's almost like, "Hey, you're coming with me." I'm like, "Can you give me a choice about it?" So, I mean, it is what it is. It's like we've said, it is the business of college football. So, it'll be interesting. Again, where do coaching firings and hirings, where do they now fit in the landscape of college football, just like, transfer portals and NIL? Because we've also heard this entire season when coaches are getting fired, they're also getting buyouts too. So yeah, the business of college football.
Well, Avery, that does it for college football time. Um, as for those of you, thank you for tuning in on this Monday as we discuss the latest news that's been happening in college football. Stay tuned for later this week as we will keep you guys updated on the latest on college football. The first round is very exciting. We're looking forward to it. Again, salute to James Madison, Tulane. Um, we love seeing new blood. We love seeing new blood in sports. So hopefully we will have ourselves an exciting first round. And just keep tuning into college football time with Avery Miguel. We are grateful and thankful to be able to do this. And again, guys, if you watch college football, don't stop watching bowl season. There are players that are under the radar. It's not always about the big teams that has the pockets. So take a chance on teams that are quiet, that they're under the radar because there's a lot of talent everywhere. It's like saying, it's like, let's say you're in your senior year in high school and you're applying for colleges. Don't think that you have to go to this school right here to get a great education. You can get a great education anywhere. It's all about doing your research, doing your homework, make a difference. Stand out, be different, think outside the box. I just have to throw that out there because we live, there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people that I like to call it stinking thinking, that they just thinking about this and completely disregard the mid to low level programs.
You,
Any
you
final
know
words
what?
you want to say, Avery?
Miguel, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. For the past couple years, like you said, we kind of said it. We you don't always look to those big colleges for everything. During bowl season, in the past couple years, we have seen some teams just play some really great games during bowl season. So I think even with the college playoff, I think we need to be really excited about this bowl. You have some teams that are getting bowl invites, who they're playing. if you're looking at the schedule, I live in Florida. The state of Florida has 9 bowls. So right then and there for a college football fan in Florida, you have choices. And some of these are multiple choices, especially, in the Orlando and Tampa area. But, I like that way of thinking. Don't always think that because I liked your analogy of just because a college is up here or you're applying for university, you have to go with the top tier because not everybody can get in the top tier. You have to do you have to do for you. And now we're in a time where, you know, financial stability, financial literacy is something that everyone needs to look to. So, if you have it what it takes to get to that top tier, that's great. But if financially it may not work out, just like I mentioned to the terminology, for college football, you may want to look closer to home. You may want to do your research to see what can work in your own backyard, and you never know. Like any time in life, certain things happen where you get the opportunity, and it could be going to that university that's in your own backyard where you meet that lifelong friend forever, where you end up, in that class that sparks something that you need to take a major in, that sparks a lifelong ambition or a lifelong a task of learning where you find that mentor that just keeps you inspired. And I think we can say that sports isn't just sports. Throughout the history of sports, sports has brought us together. Sports has uh, made us, take a look in a more deeper side of those who, throw a ball, throw a football, hit the ball. Sports is this really great thing that can bring us together, and it's not always one dimensional. And that's one thing I love about it.
Amen to that. Avery, enjoy your day off, and we'll pick it up later this week for a new content of college football time. Take care, everyone. Have a great Monday. Have a great week.
Happy Monday, everyone. Take care.